What's up, guys? We're back with another episode. Let's roll right into UFC 298. Some of my thoughts and takeaways from the fights. I just want to go over a small recap of the main card. All right, so the first fight on the main card was Anthony Fluffy Hernandez versus Roman Kopylov. And this is a fight I told you guys about. I felt like Anthony Hernandez was a for sure thing. Like he was going to get the job done, and he did a great job. So it started out being an exciting striking match where Roman Kopylov, he's an expert in this. This is his realm. He did not want to go to the ground with Anthony Hernandez, and he, even being so close, he landed a tough liver kick, and I think that may have affected Anthony just a little bit, but he stuck to his game plan. That guy is he's a true entertainer and just a savage. He was kind of like feeding into Kopylov's ego, and he was like taunting him and being like, come on, let's fight. And then he eventually, got his back up against the cage, took him down, and then ended up getting the rear naked choke. When he did cinch it in, you could see his face, like he knew it was in, and he was just waiting for the tap, and he did that. So I was super excited for him. So nothing but good things for him in the future. All right, and the second fight was Morba versus Henry Cejudo. And this is a fight that I was like a little iffy on, but I was like, from a betting standpoint, because of the big dog that Cejudo was at a plus 200, based off of Morba being such a decorated wrestler. He's relentless with his takedowns. He's a good grappler, and he has that cardio for days. I was kind of leaning towards Cejudo. I was like, I know he has the better wrestling, but it seemed like Cejudo came out in the first round. He rocked Morba pretty bad. He had some slick takedowns, and he finished the round on top. And I was like, man, if he just can consistently deliver that for the second and third round, he's going to get his hand raised, and we're going to win our second bet of the night. But I saw in the corner after the first round, he was taking huge deep breaths, whereas Morba wasn't even fazed by it. So I was like, oh man, this isn't looking good. As the second round started, Cejudo just looked kind of flat, and he wasn't doing a whole lot, nothing like he did in the first round. Whereas Morba is known for his conditioning and relentless takedowns. So I was like, damn. Morba won the second round, and then I was like, hopefully Cejudo was, kind of conserving some energy, and he was gonna just like empty the clip in the third round, and he came out again flat. And right there, I was like, damn it, we're not going to win this one. So I apologize to you guys, but Morba went out there. He did a great job, beat a former double champion. He looked great, you know what I mean? So congratulations to him. All right, so the third fight on the main card was Ian Garry versus Jeff Neal. And this is a fight where Jeff Neal was a huge underdog, but I feel like it was Ian Garry's biggest step up in competition. And this is a fight where, from a betting standpoint, I was like, it can go either way, but if I was betting on it, looking for a bigger return, I would have went with Neal. And man, it was a close fight. Ian Garry ended up edging out the split decision, where I felt like it was 1-1 going into the third round. And sometimes it's so difficult to pick these fighters, and this is what I was saying, that it's so tough, because I can argue how each guy gets the job done, and who's judging the fight. What are they seeing in it that scores them more points? Ian Garry had a great game plan. He was just kind of waiting. He would paw out like his teeps, the oblique kicks. He was staying long and at range, which we knew he was going to try to do, and he was just trying to have Jeff Neal come in, and then he would counter him. But the entire time he was backing up and making Neal chase him. And I feel like some of the things where Jeff Neal could have maybe done a little better, he was kind of following him and chasing him instead of cutting off the octagon. But both guys did a great job. Ian Garry edged out the split decision win, so congrats to him as well. And in the co-main event, it was Robert Whitaker versus Paulo Costa. And this is a fight that I was, kind of staying away from, just because it was such a close fight, and I could see how both guys get the job done, with, Costa being such a powerhouse and being so explosive in his knockout abilities. But Robert Whitaker was a former middleweight champion. He kept working his jab and his calf kicks, and then it would set up big combinations. He'd get inside. He was slipping in and outside Paulo Costa's jab and landing 2-3 shots at a time. But you always have to be cautious of Paulo Costa's power, because even after the first round, Whitaker went out there and had a dominant round, but then within the last like 10-15 seconds, he threw this crazy spinning wheel kick and it landed flush on Whitaker's face and rocked him. He was wobbled, and for a second I thought he was going to come in and finish him off and kind of seal the deal, but Whitaker stayed composed and fired back even though his back was against the cage, and the round ended. In the second round, it was really competitive. It was going back and forth. So at the end of the second round, I had it 1-1 going into the third round. The third round was super exciting as well. It was like, who wants it more? Who's going to go out there and just like put everything on the line and get their hand raised? And it was a close fight back and forth, but I think Whitaker did plenty to get the job done. And the last fight, of course, was the main event of UFC 298, Volkanovski versus Topuria. It was for the featherweight title. This is a fight that I said, it's so close. I can argue how both guys get the job done, so I would stay away from it from a betting standpoint. But if I had to, I was leaning with Volkanovski just because he's such a dominant champion and he's continued to surprise people and just prove to the world how good he is over and over. But Topuria, he's a young, talented, hungry fighter, and he's so well-rounded. And so if Volkanovski got it done, I was thinking he would win by decision. But Ilia, I was thinking like I could see him winning in multiple areas, whether he knocks him out, TKO, submission, decision. He could win in multiple areas of the fight. But he did a great job. I think he went out there, he stuck to his game plan, he stayed calm and composed, even though he was fighting one of the best featherweights of all time. And he went out there, and I feel like he's kind of a slow starter. He started the round off, and he doesn't do a whole lot. He's just kind of filling out his opponent. He's collecting a lot of data and trying to get the timing and see how fast these individuals are. And I felt like Volkanovski he's fast, and he was doing a good job of like landing his jab on Ilia. But I feel like after the first round concluded, I felt like he got just enough data to go out there and just kind of implement his game plan. I feel like he wasn't too threatened by the power, and he had done enough to get his timing where Ilia would start to open up, and he was trying to cut him off and get Volkanovski's back against the cage where he can unload a 3-4 punch combination, and he just did exactly that. And if the right hook didn't land, that left hook was going to land, and that was a powerful shot as well. So congratulations to the new champion. It's we're all trying to achieve the same thing, and that's where the fight game is. It's just insane. It's like anything can happen on any given day. Maybe one day you're supposed to fight, and it's just like you're just not on that day. Maybe it just wasn't your day. So it's hard to knock someone's success, even though leading up to it, I feel like people were thinking Ilia was way too cocky and he wasn't like a fan favorite at the time. Everyone, was cheering for Volk and stuff in the arena and chanting his name. But at the end of the day, Ilia achieved greatness, something he set out to do, and he did just that. So you can never knock someone's success. You just have to be happy for them. And so that's why I'm like, even though I fought the guy and I have no ill will against him, it's like it's hard to not be happy for someone that achieved a huge goal. And I know he has other goals on the horizon now, but that is a fight I want back. I know I have to win another 1 or 2 big fights, also depending on who the opponents are, but I will do that. And we'll get to the point where we can see it Emmett versus Topuria too. All right, those are my takeaways from 298. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. Do you guys agree, disagree with me? And we'll catch you on the next one.